everyone, it's Rayvon from Love Lola. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am just so happy to have you here with me. Make sure that you take a moment to look down below in the description box because that's where you're going to find a link to where you can purchase the pattern. I'm going to have links to where I purchase my materials, my vinyls, my zippers, my hardware. If I'm using it, you're going to have a link to where you can find it. Today, we're going to be making Okay, so I've got all of my pieces cut out. There's quite a few little cut pieces as far as she gives you the measurements for. So just take your time, make sure you go through that and get everything cut out. I've done that. I am using waterproof canvas for my lining. Make sure for your lining that you cut 4 of those out. You might think to cut 2, but it's going to be 4. I interfaced with Sofuse Plus, and what I did was I usually will take a little bit of Peltex and cut it in little bitty pieces and then put it underneath my interfacing for my zipper panels, but I didn't feel like doing that today. So what I did was I just took my Sofuse and I put 3 layers and it feels pretty dang good. So I think I'm going to use that in lieu of doing stabilizer. Okay, so yes, I have that done. My friend, she asked me to make her a bag, and she doesn't know I'm doing all of this, but she wanted it to match her Converse. I'll put a picture up, and so I drew this out, and this is why I have extra stuff going on, because I wanted to surprise her with a really cool bag. Okay, anyway, I'm going to start with my handle. I've gone ahead and drawn a line down the middle long way. We're just going to fold to that line. I like to fold up to the line, but not exactly on it. Repeat on the other side. Ooh, this is stiff. I like this 3 layers of Sofuse, baby. Now, if you do that, make sure that your machine can handle it. I will say that because it's thick. All right, I'm going to fold it one more time, just like we would do a strap. Let me get my thick clamps for this, honey. Yes. This is crazy thick, and I love it. This is my new go-to. I don't need to stabilize when I can just interface like this. Oh my gosh, this feels great. I do have Tex 70 thread that I will be using on this because you have to make sure that your thread matches what you're doing with your fabric. Oh no, it's leaving a mark. Let me hurry up and get this done. Okay, and I'm going to sew around the entire thing at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, once I did that, I went ahead and pulled my thread towards the underside and tied it in a knot. Now, I applied some of this Fibbings gum. I usually use I think it's Giardini from Buckle Guy, but my base coat was starting to get really gummy, or I don't know, it's no good. So remember that I had this, so I did apply this to my edges because I believe my edges are going to be exposed. I don't think I have any hardware to put on the end. So yeah, so we'll try this out. It's just a prep coat. And then I'll put my my edge coat color on top of it. So we're gonna set this to the side. Oh yeah, I did measure. Use your instructions to measure where to put your holes for your rivets and get those rivets put in. We're gonna put this aside for now. And we're gonna grab our center zipper piece and our zipper pieces. Okay, so the center piece is right side facing up. Why is my camera so far away from me? It's getting on my nerves. There we go. Okay, so we've got our center piece. It is right side facing up, and we've got our two zippers. What do I want to... Do I want my black to be on the inside or black to be on the outside? Oh, questions. Okay, now we want to take our zippers and have them right side facing down. So right sides are touching each other. And let's get them lined up along the edges. All right, we're gonna go and get these both sewn on at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, now she does mention when you get these zippers attached that you're not basting, you're actually attaching them. And also when you get to the ends, don't pivot and go over and start back. Make sure you do 2 separate lines from one end to the other, one end to the other. Once you've got that done, turn it right side up and finger press your zipper. Really good. And once you've got that finger pressed, go ahead and get it clipped. Okay, she actually says to take the teeth apart, so I'm going to do that right now. All right. Okay, so the piece that we just took apart, we're going to finger press it so that this part that's facing up right now is going to go underneath this center piece. And now this zipper piece is sticking out. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is the side that we just attached. We're just folding that under, just like that. And finger pressing it really good. Okay. Once you have it finger pressed, we're going to go ahead and pin it down. I'm kind of doing overkill with the pins, only because I've never done this technique before, so I just want to make sure that I am prepping myself for the gods. I'm just making sure I'm setting myself up for success. Now, once you have that done, flip it over. And then we're going to go and top stitch along this top, over on the center panel. We're going to be adding a top stitch along the center panel, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and do the other side as well. Flipping that over. And pinning. All right, and now we're going to go and top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, and now we're going to go and top stitch along both sides on the center panel at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, on to the next step, which I'm not even going to lie, had me a little... It took me a second to figure it out, but I think I got it now. But before we do that, really quick, go ahead and measure in 3/8 of an inch along your seam allowance from your main panel. So the main panel material, the seam allowance, measure in 3/8 of an inch on the wrong side of that fabric and mark it on the four corners. So here, 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 here. Okay, so let me see if I can talk through this to make it really simple, because it's not hard. I made it harder than it was. Okay, so you know that we just attached our main panel piece to the zipper panel. Now, once you've got those attached, so we're looking at the wrong side now. Right here we have what? We have the seam allowance of the zipper and the main panel. Basically, all we want to do is sew on this seam allowance, the main panel seam allowance. See that little bitty material right there? That's what we're trying to get. Okay, so in order to get to that, we're going to take this and just bend it over. And we're basically bending it right at the seam, the top stitch seam. So we're bending that in. So the right side of our zipper is now touching the right side of the main panel. And when we do that, bam, now we have access to this little seam allowance that we need. Okay, so go ahead and bend that in and clip it. Okay, now grab one of those super long pieces, our double wall zipper panel, and we want to lay this right side up on the table. Okay, now we want our zipper panel piece to be right side facing down. And then we want to lay it on top about 1 inch from the side. And also about 1/8 of an inch from the top. You don't have to measure it. It doesn't have to be exact. I'm just doing this for the sake of video. So you want the top of this piece to be 1/8 of an inch down from the top of this long piece right here. And now I'm just going to repin as I get that position. So we're at about 1 inch in. There we go. And about 1/8 inch from the top. Right there, looks good to me. Right there. Okay, now go ahead and get your zipper foot on your machine. And then we're gonna get this connected. Now remember those marks that we drew, the 3/8 of an inch mark? We're gonna start and end at those marks using our zipper foot. And we're just gonna basically get those two attached to each other, okay? Okay, and now we're gonna do the exact same thing for the other side. So we've got our long piece, we've got it right side facing up. We've got our main panel wrong side facing up. We're taking it and we're folding it under so that we can have those exposed edges showing again. Once we've got that folded over so that we can get to those edges, again, we're going to measure down 1 inch. And place our piece 1 inch in and 1/8 inch down. And get it pinned. All right, once you have it pinned, let's go and get these attached. Just like before, we're gonna start and end at that 3/8 inch mark that we drew earlier, okay? Okay, so we are here. Okay, so we're here. In case I didn't mention earlier, she gives you some measurements for holes to poke on this main panel piece. So if you haven't done it, go ahead and do it. I added a few extra for decorative purposes and they look off. Oh, I missed the hole. Oh my God, I'm about to say, oh my God, please tell me I didn't measure this wrong. Okay, I was supposed to put another one right there. Oh, chow. I was about to say, because what I cannot do is start over. My mind was already thinking of what can I do to make that right. Okay. All right. Okay, so now what we need to do. Okay, so we are here. We are going to grab this long piece and place them right sides together and clamp them. Now let's head over to the machine and get them sewn together at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, once you have that done, go ahead and trim your seam allowance down to 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then flip it so that it is right side facing out. And then use a ruler to lay it flat and mark the mid piece. Now I will say that I lined my lining up with the edges. Okay, I did not line it up where this seam allowance is because then it was kind of off to the side. So I just made it where my edges lined up with the edge of the main panel. And then I went and found my center piece from there and marked it. And mark it on both sides of each piece, okay? Now let's grab our zipper pieces. The exterior, and I think there should be some lining pieces too, right? Yeah, that looks right. And also grab, if you took your zipper off like I did, I'd left one side on and took the other one off. Whatever, man. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, I'm gonna add another coat of this stuff, just so that my handle will be good and ready when it's time to add it. Dude, I kind of like the way this stuff smells. Like, am I a crackhead? That smells really good to me. Back to this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to grab one of my zipper pieces. And this little zipper piece is right side facing up. I'm going to grab that little piece that I took apart earlier, and it is right side facing down. Now if you want, you can go ahead and baste this together and then come back and add your lining. I'm going to do it all at one time because I am a lazy whore. Just kidding, just kidding. I'm not a whore, I'm just lazy. All right, I'm gonna use double side tape because why not? All right, and now I'm going to place my lining right side facing down, right on top. And I'm going to go and get this sewn on. All right, I'm going to go and sew this on at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, once we get that sewn on, we're going to press it back like you would do your normal zipper, so that now the wrong sides are touching each other. Finger press it and then go back and add that top stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so we're going to go and get a top stitch along this edge. While I'm over there, I'm going to go ahead and do my other side as well. I'm going to place my exterior panel right side facing up. I'm going to place my zipper right side facing down. Attach it. Okay, now my lining is right side facing down. Okay, so I'm going to be top stitching this one. And I'm going to be getting this one sewn together at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and then I'm going to turn it over and top stitch it as well. Okay, I've gone ahead and taken off my 2 zipper pieces. Why are they not? Okay, yeah. I went ahead and took off these. Get them out of the way. Oh, how's my... This stuff definitely isn't as thick as the Giardini, but I guess it's okay. I'm going to put a coat on this really quick. So our zipper, our gusset, our main panel gusset, Jesus, our main panel zipper panel is wrong side out. Grab one of your lining pieces, and we want the top of this to be facing up or towards the top. So I'm going to rotate it this way, okay? Because this is the top of the bag. And remember we made those marks earlier for the top and the bottom? Locate that and grab your lining. You want your lining to be right side facing down, so right sides are touching each other. And we're gonna find that mid piece and get it clamped on. And then find the bottom mid piece and get that attached. Right there. Okay. Now start pinning the straight parts first. If you want to add little clips, little snips, I mean, in those corners to get them smooth, you can. I'm not too concerned about a little bit of bunching happening. Okay, now we're gonna go and get that attached at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, once you get that attached, she said to go ahead and trim it down to 1/8 of an inch using some pinking shears that I still don't have any of, so I'm just gonna trim it regular. Okay, and now we're going to repeat that to the other side. So this is what we're working with. So right now, the wrong side of the lining that we just did should be on the table. Grab your other lining piece and find the top of it. It's right side facing down. We're gonna find that center mark that we made earlier, that we were supposed to make earlier. Why did I not? Grab our main panel, and we want our right sides touching. So I'm lining it up with that mid mark. Lining up the bottom mid mark. Okay, so I find that it works a little bit better if I don't clip the straight edges first. Just clip the top, the bottom, and then just kind of smooth everything out from there, okay? So let's go get this attached at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, I've gone ahead and put a coat of the black Giardini edge coat. Looks pretty good. All right, I'm gonna let that dry for a little bit. Okay, so my camera died, so we lost a moment, but all I did was the handle, so I can show you that really fast. So once we have added our second main panel lining piece, just flip it right side out and grab your handle that you made, and we already did the hole. So basically, you're just going to line up your holes and get your rivets installed. I did a few extra just for the sake of it. This one's coming out. What's going on? Did I not set the last one? That's not good. All right, let me get another one in because I don't know where that piece fell out to. Maybe I never put it on because it would be in here, right? All right, let me grab that really quick. Okay. All right. So yeah, just line up your holes on your handle with the holes on your zipper panel piece. Make sure that everything is straight across before you set your rivets because you don't want your handle being all wonky. Make sure that you slide your whatever you're using to get your strap attached, whether it's a triangle like this or, you know, just your D-ring. Make sure that you slide that in before you get those set. All right. If you have strap ends, go ahead and get that done. I just used edge coat. Now let's get our 2 zipper pieces. And our zipper pulls. Now you should have 4 of these. I'm only gonna be installing 2 because I only have 2 and I really wanted to use my matte zippers. So it is what it is. But yeah, you should have 4 zippers at this point. I have 2. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and get those installed. And I do want to make sure that they are going the same direction because that's something that I would mess up. All right, so we're just gonna stick that on and then stick the other one on. And then hold it and pull it. All right. Now let's do the other one. Just stick it in. Get the other side in. It's always easier for me when I lay these on the table when I do it, but it's kind of hard to do with the double zipper, so we'll get it. Just give it a moment. Okay. You can do it. 3 times a charm, right? There we go. Okay. Cute. It says, I think I'm gonna sew on the edge really quick just because I don't trust myself to not have this come off. Okay, now let's grab our 2 gusset pieces and we're going to flip this over. So our main panel piece, we kind of want that out of the way. So if you need to roll that in and clip it, go ahead and do that. All right. Now we're going to grab our gusset piece and we're gonna just take it and we're gonna line up these edges on the outside. And they are right sides touching each other. And clamp that down. We're gonna grab the other one too. Right sides touching. And clamp it down. Now she said they may overlap each other. Mine are not overlapping. But if they do, it's okay. And now we're gonna go and baste this on at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, once you've got that basted together, we're gonna grab our gusset bottom piece. I went ahead and added purse feet. If you want to do that, go ahead and follow the measurements. I think she said 4 1/4 inch over from the sides and 1 1/4 inch in from the bottom and the top. Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna grab this, and we're still on the side that we just added those gusset pieces to, and we want our exterior pieces to be right sides touching. And we're going to line them up. Now, if they don't match exactly, it's okay. Just center them. You don't want it off to the side. Just center it if it's not exactly the same length. It's no big deal. Okay, and now we're gonna go and sew this at at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, and she did mention if you would like to add a little bit of extra reinforcement over your zippers, go ahead and do that. Okay, now we're going to flip it over. Okay, now we're going to flip this over. We're going to take these gusset lining pieces and we're going to move them away from the gusset bottom. And now we're going to go and top stitch on top of the gusset at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, now we are going to just repeat that same process to the other side. We're going to grab those 2 gusset pieces. Remember, we're going to move this out of the way. Lay it right on top. Right sides are touching. The right side of the lining is facing the right side of this lining. We're going to go and baste this at 1/8 of an inch, and then we're going to take our gusset piece, place it so that right sides are touching, and we're going to sew that at 3/8 of an inch, and then we're going to flip it over and top stitch just like we just did, making sure that the lining is not in the way. Okay, once we've got this top stitched on both sides, we're going to flip it so that it's right side out. I'm going to unzip it. I feel like it's a little bit easier that way. Okay. And what we're doing now is we are attaching our lining piece to this. Okay, so we've got it turned inside out. We're here. I'm laying my main panel, the bottom gusset piece is laying on my table right now. So I'm looking at these 2 gusset pieces that we added earlier. And we're going to be attaching these to this. This was those double wall zipper pieces that were attached to the lining. So now we're attaching this to the gussets, okay? So I am just going to start as close as I can on the end. As close as your machine will allow you to get. These are going to be right sides touching each other. Oh, I marked the center. I don't know if that's right. I'm just gonna go with the flow and see what happens, okay? I got a little bit of extra material on my double panel zipper, whatever, but I don't care. I'm going to just shift that up to my top corner, and I think it'll be just fine. Bam. Perfect. All right, and we're gonna go and sew this at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And again, you're just gonna get as close as you can on those corners. When I finish this, I'm gonna go ahead and repeat it to the other side, just so you know. So when I come back, both of my sides will be attached, okay? Okay, once we have that done, she says to go ahead and trim down all of your seam allowances with pinking shears. All right. Now you will notice that you may have a tiny hole right where you joined those two pieces of material on each corner. I don't, because my machine let me kind of manhandle it, and I was able to go all the way up to exactly where it the hole starts. So I don't have a hole right there, but you may have a little bit of a hole. It's really not noticeable. You could let it be, but if you're very particular about it, she says that you can get some fabric glue or some kind of super glue and place it right there, and then just use a clamp to hold it shut until it's gone. And that's just right there where we joined those two together, okay? So if you have a hole, and if it bothers you, get some super glue or something, or hand stitch it, but it's really not even noticeable. Okay, now we're going to turn this right side out. Okay, and we are going to line up all of our raw edges. So we're going to line up basically the gusset that we just attached. We're going to attach it to the exterior gusset and pin it together, and then we're going to go and baste it all together. Same thing on the other side. Okay, and now we're going to go and baste around both sides, the raw edges, at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, just to get everything attached. Okay, so go ahead and grab a label if you're going to be adding one, and get that installed. I'm going to be putting mine on my front panel. I should put it on the back panel. Okay, so now we're going to get our linings attached to our main panels. So get your two exterior pieces, place them wrong sides up, and your two lining pieces, and place them right sides up. Clip them together. Okay, and now we're going to go and get these basted together really quick at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, now we're going to get our exterior pieces connected to the bag. Now she does mention, if you would like to staple this to it. I am going to use my clips Now, what I do like to do when I'm adding gussets like this with a curve is I like to take double-sided tape and place it on my corner pieces where the curve is. It's late and I'm tired, so I started putting it on the curve and then I just continued all the way around. Whatever. But yeah, I like to put it on my curves because it just helps it to not really move around when I'm getting it added together. So do whatever works for you. Now we want to add the front of the bag. I'm going to go ahead and unzip everything just because I feel like it's going to be easier. And typically the front of the bag is going to be the side of your handle that does not have the fold. You know how we folded it? So that fold is going to be in the back and the other side is going to be the front. I feel like my camera needs to go more this way. Okay, so I have my front panel. We are going to actually turn this inside out, right? I don't know how I'm turning this inside out. I just know it says to turn it inside out. All right. Now I'm going to take my gusset. Okay, so I smushed the handle so that it's coming up in the middle of this. Does that make sense? So it's right side out, and this mid piece is coming up through the middle of the bag. So if I reverse it, it would be like this. So we're here. This is the front of the handle. And this is the opened zipper. And I'm just going to flip it inside out and then bring my gusset with the handle right underneath it. So there we go. Okay. I'm going to take this and clip it to get it out of the way. Just for a second. I'm going to have to unclip it in a second. Okay, so this is what we're working with. Now we're going to take our main panel, the front piece, and line up those mid marks, and right sides are touching, okay? Right sides are touching. I'm going to press that together. And then I'm going to clamp it. Now I'm going to find the bottom piece, get that out of the way. Find those mid marks and get those connected. There we go. If you need to put a few clips in the corner, just to help it do what it needs to do, go ahead and do that. Perfect. Oh, I love when stuff matches up perfectly. Just, oh. All right, now let's get the other side done. All right, now we're gonna go and baste this together. I'm gonna do it at about 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, that was surprisingly easy. Just thought I'd say that. The next part is we're going to get some bias tape added. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm not the queen of bias tape. I just couldn't care less about it. You know, I feel like some people like really get all upset about it, and they're on this quest to do the perfect bias. Y'all, it's the inside of her bag. All we're doing is covering up this seam. It's not meant to be poetic. Like, it's not that serious. It's really not. And so, yeah, this is how I do my bias tape. I take it and I just open it up and fit it over the seams. I don't care. I'm not doing sew one side and then sew it and flip it. I'm not doing all that, y'all. Now, what you can do, and I have done before, is I've got hot glue and just put a little bit of hot glue around the edges right before I added this, and then I would add it right behind it, and miracle worker. It isn't gonna move because it's hot glued on, and then I go back and sew it. So if you truly do care about your bias tape, that's another lazy option. I'm giving you lazy options over here because that's all I got. By the time I get to the bias tape, I just cannot be bothered, y'all. And I just don't believe that anybody that purchases my bag is really at their house looking at the bias tape. I can't believe it. So anyway, this is how I add my bias tape. And it's fine. Highly, highly recommend the hot glue if you still want to be lazy, but you want to make sure that there's no shifting. The hot glue, baby. I meant to get it warmed up, and because I didn't, I just don't have the energy or the time to wait to pull it out now. So this is going to be it. And guess what? It's going to be fine. No one has ever purchased a bag of mine and hit me up to tell me that the bias tape didn't look good. Oh, God. This is me. Looks like Halloween, huh? Okay, and when I get to the end, all I do is fold this, the end under, and then lay it right on top of the other piece. I keep it real simple, y'all. Alright, and now I'm going to go and get this sewn on at, I don't know, about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, once we have that done, we're going to repeat the same thing to the other side. So I think we have to turn this back right side out first so that we can turn out the other side. Aww. So cute. Oh no, I didn't sew in. I didn't make my seam allowance big enough. I should have checked that beforehand. That was a rookie mistake. Before you add your bias tape, check and make sure. Oh yeah, because I forgot I did, my seam allowance was larger. Okay, we've got one side done, and now we're going to repeat it to the other side. So let's see. Let's turn this out. So cute. So cute. Oh my gosh, this is adorable. Oh my goodness, so cute. Okay, let's finish it up. So cute. Why is there a thread right there? Okay. All right. So we're going to do the same thing to the other side. How do we do that? Okay, we turned it inside out. There we go. Okay, and now this piece is going to get joined to our exterior. So let's line up our mid pieces, right sides together. Okay, once we've got that on, I think we're done, y'all. Let's see, let's turn it out. Hopefully everything is good. Oh, I forgot I wanted to add a stabilizer to my gusset. Oh, man. Oh, well, it's okay. I think that all of that interfacing tripled up is more than enough. Oh my gosh, this is adorable. I've been wanting to make a bag that has a double zipper for a while now, and I just never got around to it. So I am so glad that she made this bag. This is perfect. Oh my goodness. This is gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Play with your seams a little bit. You know, I added a pocket to the front of mine, so I've got a little bit more of gathering. Oh shit, down here, but it's fine. I'll probably pin it overnight, and that'll help get this to smooth out. I'll get some fabric or something and place it over it like that, and then get one of these large clamps and place it like that overnight, and it'll give it a nice form for tomorrow. But anyway, yeah, I love it already. So cute. Okay, and now you can make your strap. I'm not going to because I found this chain. I don't know where it came from or when I got it, but I really like it. And I think that it would look great on here. Let's see. Yeah, I think I would prefer this to a strap. If you want to do a strap, she does have the directions on how to do, you know, just your basic, oh, this is pretty, just your basic strap. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I'm going to go with this chain. I think it's pretty. All right, that's it. I'm going to put some pictures of the shoes that I used as a theme for this bag. It's a little bit of a puckering right there, but that's going to have to work because what I can't do is go back and do this over. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. I can't wait for her to see this. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Please don't forget to like and follow. Okay, last thing. The inside lining, I don't know if you can see it, it's just a little bit puffy right there around the corners. So what I like to do for stuff like this is grab my little Cricut. So what I like to do is grab my little Cricut iron and I use that to get those pieces smoothed out. I just place it right in the corner where that crease is and press down. And it does a great job of smoothing that out. I love these little things. I got these when I used to make masks. I got this little Cricut iron when I used to make masks to do transfer vinyl on. And now I love it for getting in my bags when I need to flatten out my seams like this. It works great. Works great. But nice and flat. See? Oh, I missed a spot. Great. Set up. Okay, let me do the other side. Same thing, just a little bit puffy. No worries. Perfect. All right, that's great. And the last thing that I'm going to do is I want to get those a nice perfect shape. So I am going to grab some leather. You can grab vinyl any kind of fabric really. Basically just something to protect my bag from the clamps. Just something to protect the bag from getting marks from the clamps. So that side piece, always seem to have a little bit of problem with the side pieces where the gusset meets. It kind of wants to bunch in a little bit, you know? So I'm going to massage that out. And put these clamps on it for a few minutes. And then by the time I take them off, it will be nice. The silhouette will be nice and, you know, the way I want it to be. I got these clamps from Amazon. I'll put the link below. You can also find them at the Dollar Tree. Gonna do the same thing on the other side. ahead and listen to their opinion. That's just... All right, so I'm gonna let this marinate for a few minutes and hopefully it'll give me that perfect silhouette that I'm looking for.